Boxing King Media in association with the Riyadh Citizen. Delighted to be joined by the two promoting kingpins of the UK out here in Saudi Arabia, trying to claim who's going to be number one in Saudi Arabia. Is that a fair opening statement?
I think it's and everywhere. This is a massive event. We've got fighters coming from all over the world, you know, from our respective promotional business. So no, this is about who's going to be number one.
It's still debatable, Eddie, who's number one in the UK. It's fair to say, but is this the bragging rights?
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever agree on that one. But Saturday night's going to go a long way to decide that, you know. And although the relationship is good now, the thought of the flight home, having lost, is crippling because you know the whole team. It's not just us; it's all the people. Well, you know, the needle's going to be off the chart. So there's a lot more on the line than just victory and future fights and money. This is, for us, it's important to win because this is our turn at competition. Because we don't really normally get anything like this. The fighters get their chance to fight out in the ring. But when has there ever been a team concept with point scoring where you can actually decide who wins out of Matchroom and Queensbury? And I think one of the things that's going under the radar a little bit is this concept, the actual scoring system and the double points for the captain. Because you're going to see that in the graphics during the night. And I just know it's coming down to Wilder Zhang. And he's our captain pick with double points. We can come from a mile behind, or we can have to hang on for dear life for victory.
And has His Excellency said what the promoters are going to win, depending on whose team wins?
Well, what does the promoters win? I think the fighters will be getting pushed on more, bigger and better cards. That's what happened. So that wins for the fighters and the promoters. This concept will carry on. There's no doubt about it, it'll carry on. I can even see us in the future, I hope, us against a couple of American promoters, maybe doing it something like that, who knows? It's a great concept, but first we've got to get this one out of the way because this is the first one, it's the most important one, and it means so much to everybody involved, including Eddie and myself.
I love that idea. Frank and Eddie versus Al Heyman and Oscar De La Hoya, maybe. That'd be interesting. Got a question for both of you. You've obviously picked your captains, but if you had to pick a vice captain, who would your vice captain be?
Oh, vice captain. I'd go for Nick Ball.
Eddie?
I think in terms of favourite to win, I'd go for Filip Hrgović. I think, although Ray, I think, they're just, honestly, every single fight. When have you ever seen a fight card of 5 world-class fights of complete pick'ems? Complete pick'ems. I mean, we keep arguing about, who's going to win this. No, the truth is, no one can categorically say, oh, my man wins. I know my man wins it. This is a shoe-in. There's no shoe-ins here. Anything could happen in any one of these 5 fights.
You mentioned that Raymond Ford seems to be a big favourite amongst a lot of people. I'm guessing that you're saying Nick Ball is the guy that you're picking to cause the biggest shock on the night?
Not a shock, I expect him to win. He should be world champion anyway. He got robbed last time out against a fighter who everybody said was the best out there in that division. So I genuinely feel that it's Nick's time. He's in with a very, very good fighter, there's no doubt about that. And it's going to be a very competitive fight, but I feel he can come through.
Eddie, it's based on that same question.
Yeah, look, Nick is a world-class fighter, no doubt. Frank's right, should have beaten Ray Vargas. Very tough fight for Ray Ford. I just think he's a special fighter. And, probably in the same split of people favouring Ray Ford is the people favouring Hamza Shiraz. And again, I back our man in that as well. I do think he's in a very tough fight against Hamza. But I like Hamza. I think he's a real rough diamond, is Ammo Williams. A great athlete, huge puncher, very sharp puncher as well. And you just know it's going to be full of drama. One thing that isn't going to happen is 5 ordinary fights that just play out, one-sided, boring. Every one is going to be full of drama.
I urge people to watch the Ammo Williams Hamza Shiraz face-off because he was probably the best one at the lot. The Dubois fight, I feel like that could potentially decide this potential September fight in Wembley, decide the main event. But it is, see if Wilder wins by a crazy knockout. We know His Excellency loves knockout artists. Could he jump the queue and get that AJ fight at Wembley?
Well, it depends what happens in Daniel's fight because he's a knockout artist. So we'll see. Look, there's so many permutations here. And that's what's so good about it, is how each one of these fights leads to another fight, to another great fight. And he's on the hunt to get his titles back. AJ, he desperately wants them, there's no doubt about that. He's hit a tremendous run of form now, 2 really good performances. We would love our guy to be in there against him. We'd love Daniel to be in there. But even if it was Deontay Wilder or Hrgovic, all of them are great fights. They're all great fights.
Eddie, if you had the choice of Dubois and Wilder, say they both win by a viral knockout, who would you want?
I mean, look, AJ Wilder's been talked about for years. Very explosive fight. But look, on the flip side, you'd have 2 Brits fighting for probably the world heavyweight title at Wembley. So, you know, and actually, I've got to be honest, like, I believe Hrgovic wins, and obviously I'm screaming for him. But if Dubois was to come through and beat Hrgovic, it's a hell of a comeback. You know, I mean, a lot of people were writing him off. And in this game, in that weight class, anything can happen. He's a huge puncher. So is Hrgovic. Those 2 heavyweight fights can have your favourite, but the reality is someone hits someone on the chin, it's over. And that's why the last 2 particularly are going to be so compelling.
I don't know if you both could give us an insight on what the latest with this Fury-Usyk rematch situation is, because people are quoting dates in November now, and we were told initially October.
The date hasn't been set yet. It will be set. Both fighters have said they want it, and that's it. That's where we are.
Scott Fitzgerald, I'm ready. You've worked with him in the past. You've seen him. He's back fighting fit.
Called me.
Would you work with
Called
him?
me on Saturday.
Okay.
A number come up on my phone, and I said, hello. And he said, Eddie, it's Scott Fitzgerald. And I went, blimey, how you doing? And I was, you know, it was really good to speak to him. That was one of the, you know, the saddest, most frustrating stages of definitely my promotional career is seeing the problems that he faced. And, you know, myself and particularly Steve Wood, you know, got him into rehab in the Tony Adams Centre. You know, Steve, you know, took him down there, got it all done, and unfortunately he couldn't turn the corner, and he was beyond help, in all honesty. I think that's a difficult thing to be, beyond help, but he was definitely one that was. And the only way that sometimes you can drag yourself back from those places is to do it yourself, and to hit such rock bottom. And for him it was going to prison or whatever it was, and just one day things will change. And they have, and he's back in the gym. Don't forget, this was a kid who beat Anthony Fowler, right, in a brilliant fight at the Echo. Sold, I think, 1,100 tickets that night from Preston. He was on he had it all, and he lost everything. So a couple of years on, it's a great story, and we'll be ready. When he said, I'll have my first spar back tomorrow. I said, good, let's have a couple of weeks of sparring, and I'll come up and see you, and we'll get something planned. And, you know, amazing to see him back, because that story can go very differently from where he's come back from.
Amazing. Last question.
And he should take inspiration from Tyson, because that's where Tyson was. And it's brilliant. Somebody can do that, and they can get themselves another chance. And everybody in boxing wishes him well.
Last question, Frank, for you. You've been around the game a long time. You'll have seen Mike Tyson. You've worked with him in the past. Ulcer flare-up, it said it was yesterday. Do you think you should still be fighting Jake Paul based on an ulcer flare-up?
He'll obviously have to have his medicals before the fight, and they'll flag whether he should be fighting or not. You know, my view is very simple. I don't like the idea of 58-year-old guys fighting, no matter who they are. But he is obviously over 21 because he's 58. It's his life, and it's his choices. And you know, I don't know what to say. I mean, that at the end of the day is their business. I just hope nothing does go wrong, and let's hope that if that fight goes on, which it sounds like it's still going ahead, that both of them come out okay with it, at the other end of it. But you know, 58-year-old guys should be boxing.
Amazing. Last thing, can you guys mind doing an angry face-off with each other just for a thumbnail?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You better be quick before we start laughing.
Yeah, 'cause
Ready?
we keep getting-
3, 2, 1. There you go.
Thank you very much for your time.